Good morning, all of you, and welcome to another episode of English Buddy. Those who have not subscribed, kindly subscribe the channel. So today, let's have a glance at the grammar portion, and it's not a tough grammar portion that I have picked up. It's a simple one, but something that we should be aware of. Okay. Now, when we do the speaking session of English language, I find that most of the students, those who are not accustomed to that, they have the tendency of translating the ideas from our native language to English. But actually, it will not work. You know why? It's because the sentence pattern in both the languages are not similar. When we talk about English, it strictly follows subject, verb, object, SVO pattern. Of course, sometimes the complements all do occur in the beginning, but or at the end, but still, that structure is being maintained. Subject, verb, object. Okay, so it's really hard, and it's will look something odd if you translate from one language to another. Of course, there should be some modifications to the sentence pattern, as well as the way it is put into. Okay, so now we'll have as I told you, the English language strictly follows the subject verb object pattern. Let's have a look at the subject. We'll not look at the verb and object right now. We'll just start with the subject. From the initial classes, I think from grade 3 onwards, the students are asked to identify the subject and predicate of the sentence. They find it easy. Okay, once you get the clue, normally what they do is the first word you will underline it as subject, and all the rest is the comes under the predicate section. But unfortunately, that is not the case. Okay, it's not. There is no full guarantee that it should come in that way. There are certain things that we should be aware of before identifying the proper subject. Okay, now when we talk about subject, okay, there are three kinds of subjects. That is, first is the simple subject, second one is the complete subject, and the third one is the compound subject. Simple, complete, and compound. Okay, so let's start with the first one. I have a sentence here. I have deliberately come up with a long sentence. Okay, so that if you start in this way, any kind of sentences that come to you, you can easily identify the subject. Okay, now here you see, when we talk about those who are identifying the subject, the first part, that is the subject, right? So we have here the patient Mr. John. Okay, has, of course, is an auxiliary verb. So, you need not look from this part, because the predicate, under the predicate comes a verb. So, subject must be something here. The patient, Mr. Johns. Okay, now in one way what I can do is, I can identify the subject as the patient. Okay, nothing wrong in that. The patient. So if I say the patient, that means I am including one article, the definite article, and the name of the proper noun, that is patient, the common noun patient. Okay, the patient. Okay, so the patient is a subject, of course, but this is a complete subject. Can we say a complete subject? The patient. But what about the proper noun Mr. Johns? That also should be included, right? So when we pick up the subject, we have to pick it up as the patient Mr. John. Then only it can be considered as the complete subject. Did you understand what I mean? Okay, so is it clear to you? So if I pick it up as the patient, it is not complete, it is incomplete. So I have to pick it up as the patient Mr. John. Now, in case if you are given a sentence of this kind and you are asked to identify the simple subject in it, okay, the simple subject, of course you can go for patient, the common noun. That is a simple subject. Don't include the. If you include the, then you have to include this part also. Otherwise, it will be incomplete. So, if you are including the patient Mr. John, then of course it is a complete subject. If you are including only patient, it is a simple subject. I think the idea is clear to you. So I have introduced a complete and simple subject. Okay. Now we'll go to another sentence. Have a look at this sentence. A PC screen and a rectal swab for culture and sensitivity were done. Okay. In this sentence, you see here a PC screen and a rectal swab. Okay. These two ideas are connected by the conjunction and. A coordinating conjunction and is there. Both are linked, both are connected. You can't remove one from the other. Okay, don't remove it. So it should be considered as what? The subject. Clear? Now that is a PC screen and a rectal swab. This should be considered as what? A single subject. We can't say a PC screen only as a subject. It is incomplete because there is a coordinating conjunction and here. So you have to include a PC screen and a rectal swab as the subject. Clear? So as there are two ideas here connected with the conjunction and, this can be considered as a compound subject. Clear? Why it is known as compound? Compound means a combination of two. There are two ideas here. They are linked by the conjunction and. That is why it is considered as a compound subject. Now you may think, why don't we add this one also? For culture. See that for, the word for, that will stop you. Because why? Why is it so? It's because for, as you know, it's a preposition. So whatever comes after that is a prepositional phrase which cannot be included in the subject. Clear? So here you have two ideas linked with and, acting as a subject, and so it is a compound subject. Okay. Now I will come up with another one more sentence. Abdomen reveals minimal. Okay, we'll just see this part only. So when, see, even a third standard student, if you are given a sentence of this kind, they will shut their eyes and just they know that in the beginning only the subject comes. Okay, fine. It's correct. So here, see abdomen. The word abdomen, you don't have any modifiers, articles. You don't have articles, you don't have any adjectives, you don't have even nothing to modify it. Okay, so in that case, abdomen is just a single word, a single idea, nothing to be add on. So this can be considered as a perfect simple subject. This is a simple subject. Okay, in this sentence, abdomen is a single subject. So mostly, as I told you, the subject comes of course in the beginning, and it's easy to identify, but you have to take care of whether they have, particularly specifically mentioned whether you have to pick up the simple subject or the compound subject or the complete subject. You have to have you have to be vigilant about it. Now, one more sentence I just want because okay, this is one is very important. You get a sentence like this. Okay. There are small scabs over the dorsum of the middle pharynx, whatever it is. Okay, so as I'll be a third standard child now. I'll identify the first part as the subject. But you see here, there are. How can I? Here you have the verb. Are, of course, it's an auxiliary verb. It comes here. And you have this one. That, there, these, those. All the demonstrative adjectives, all those are coming here. Here, there. So in always, when you have a sentence with here or there in the beginning, it is an inverted sentence. The subject is inverted there. You have the verb first, and maybe always, as I mentioned, in English, subject comes first, then you have the verb, then you have the object. SVO pattern. But in some cases, sentences can happen in this way also. Here you can see the verb is first. And now you have to identify the subject. Okay, there are small scabs. Now, of course, you may think that, okay, I will identify it as small scabs as the subject. Why small? Small is what? An adjective, right? It is describing the noun, scab. So, no need of adding any modifiers there. So, the subject is just scabs. Okay? Clear? Now, don't get don't be misled by this over. Okay, why? Again, there is an answer for that. Over is a preposition, and this will come as a prepositional phrase, which shouldn't be considered. Okay, so in this sentence where the subject is getting inverted, where you have the verb coming first, okay, you should have look for the noun after the verb only. That, as I told you, I gave you a clue. Those sentences mostly they begin with there or here. Okay, so we have discussed the three kinds of subjects today: simple subject, compound subject, and the complete subject. And of course, I did share something about what the inverted subject also, where the verb comes in the beginning, and how to identify the subject in that way, where you have to look for the subject only after the verb. Okay, thanks for watching, and once again I would request you to subscribe English Buddy. Thank you. Bye.